I'm assuming you guys got that copy of that proposal that I have
Yeah, via email.
via email? Okay, okay. I've been talking a little bit with Cheyenne County Wildlife about this project. I'm looking for a project to use the federal funds on, and I think this is something that's within what they would like to see done and how they like to see the money spent. And it's something that's beneficial to us. Right now, the range, it doesn't quite fit what we need. So it's not very large improvements, but it's some improvements that we want to do out there, some changes we want to do that sets the range up, mainly for tactical shooting and our qualification course. We have to shoot a qualification course with the rifle, the shotgun, and the pistol. And we could do it out there. We have to take our own target stands out there. We kind of have to guesstimate on the distances or measure one of the two. The barricades that we use, we have to fire so many rounds from behind a barricade. The barricades that are out there are getting kind of old and splintery and stuff like that. So essentially, it's going to make the range easier for us to use for our qualification shooting, and make it a little bit better for us to use for the tactical shooting training that we do. The first scope of the project is extending the dirt pile on past where it is now on the pistol range, not the long range rifle. I don't know if you guys have been out there to know what I'm talking about.
What
Okay,
direction do you want to go with that?
just over to the fence,
To the west.
to the west. Okay, and that's because we want to move barricades down. So another one of the issues is when we go out there, there's two barricades, which means that only two people can shoot the qualification course at a time. Well, that kind of slows things down. Sometimes we're trying to get it done. We just want to go out, shoot the qualification course, be done. Well, then you have to have a line of people waiting and shooting the qualification course. So if we could get a longer line on that, we could shoot 3 or 4 people at once. We could get that done pretty fast. The second part of that would be redo the target stands. The target stands, like I said, we have to take our own right now, and right now they're in disrepair, which they always seem to be because you shoot them. Somebody misses and shoots them. But the target stands that are out there, what we call our Q targets, the targets that we have to use for qualifications, do not fit on those target stands. They're too narrow and they're too short. They're made for just guys putting up bullseye targets. So we'd make target stands that would fit the Q target and would lower the amount of ricochet, the ricochet risk, and put those out there over here and on the qualification lines. And then we'd make permanent markers. We'd measure that out and make permanent markers for our distances that we have to shoot for the Q course, because we're kind of like, that looks like 5 yards,
Could be 7.
It could be 7, it could be 5. So we want to do some permanent markers there on the yardage, and then do the same thing over on the rifle side too, because we have certain places we have to shoot from the rifle. The second part of that is, I only made one map, but up here where the shooting, that little covered area is, the barricades are right here. We're wanting to move them out to here for that expended shooting lane to shoot at the target. We're just wanting to pour a cement sidewalk there so that we're shooting on a stable platform. We're never never in real life going to shoot on a stable platform, but for a range, we want to make it as safe as possible. I don't want somebody stepping in a gopher hole, because it could be dangerous. So we're just wanting to pour a concrete sidewalk going over to the barricades and behind the barricades to shoot. Behind here, this is an area of the range that's hardly ever used, and that's where we want to put some reactive targets on the backside of this berm. Some things like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with shooting trees or poppers or anything like that. They're metal targets that you shoot and they react to it. Like it might spin around the other way, things like that. And put them down there, which of course
You're still going to be on the north side of the berm?
Yes. Or no, sorry. We'll be on the south side. That's why we included this apparatus for the safety, that you can swing something out, put something out to let people know that you're behind there.
So you're firing
From here to here.
Okay, so you're firing from here to here?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you're gonna be on the backside of this
Yeah,
berm?
yeah.
For some reason I had,
No.
That wasn't gonna work.
No, from here to here. And, we were just thinking something like a simple gate, like they use on I-70 on the, on-ramps. You just swing it out so they know there's somebody back there shooting. I mean, obviously they should be able to hear you, but you don't want to rely on that. You put something that swings out into right in front of this bench, a big old red swinging gate that says shooters behind berm or something like that. And then, of course, a post there so you can chain it up when you're not back there, so that we know, somebody knows somebody's behind the berm shooting.
You'll be closing the range when you're doing it.
Yeah, and that's why we're gonna have that physical. Not only would the sheriff's pickups be parked up there, you can't rely on one thing when you're trying to keep the people safe. We'd also put an obstacle, so when they go to put the rifle down range, there's an obstacle in their way to shoot.
and there's another option. The trail going in, there's still two posts that used to have a swinging gate on it.
And that's what we're
And
talking
that's
about.
the only real trail through there. You could also put some kind of notification there, the range is closed.
Something, we just
Yeah.
wanna put a notification up, and then redo the target stands. We're wanting to put a line of target stands up at the 100-yard, again, so that our cue targets can fit. There is a thing that we have to do with rifles, that the shooter has to shoot 3 separate targets. And we're wanting to build one of them that is wide enough that we could put 3 targets up at one time. You have to basically face 3 targets, and one of them you shoot with your handgun at the end. You have to shoot the 2 targets with your rifle, and then you simulate that you either had a rifle malfunction or you ran out of ammunition, and you have to draw your pistol and fire your last round with the pistol. So we're wanting to put one that's big enough that we could do that on. But it's not a whole lot of work, but I think it'll improve our ability to train out there. I want to use the federal money that we have in our, lack of better words, our savings account, so that taxpayers' money is not being used for this. And I think it'll also be a benefit to the Wildlife Association. They've let us shoot out there for years, let us use their stuff. I think it'll be a benefit to them, and that's why I put at the end of that, we're not asking them to give us any exclusive rights to use the stuff that we build. If we build it, anybody that's a member could use it. And kind of in good faith, they have never charged us in the past to use their range. We've used it for 30 years or so for free. I cannot legally give donations from the asset forfeiture fund, but I think
Can't make the improvements.
we can make the improvements, and we could pay a range fee to them for good faith. We're gonna be putting a lot of work in out at their facility. We can't call it a lease, but we can call it a fee. We could pay them $1,000 fee. That helps us become, I don't know how you wanna say it, kind of partners on the deal. Makes everybody feel a little bit better about us being able to go out there and shoot for free. In the past we always shot for free. I'm just recommending a one-time $1,000 fee, so that we can move forward and build stuff in good faith out there, and everybody kind of makes us invested into it.
But you haven't proposed this yet to Cheyenne County?
I have talked to them about the proposal, but they gave me permission to go ahead, talk to contractors, see how much it would cost, go ahead, put together a proposal. This same proposal is gonna go to them, for them to discuss at their meeting. I guess I got to go ahead to do further investigation of whether we could do it, can't do it, and what we wanted to do to make it a little bit better, so.
And then you wouldn't have to go to this Rollins County one?
The Rollins County, the reason we go to the Rollins County one is for the long-range rifle shooting, because there's just not an area out there to go to the long range. I do want to stop going to the Rollins County one, because it's expensive every year to go shoot. I'm to the point that I'd rather just find a farmer that would let us go into their pasture and shoot 200-300 yards.
$200?
$200, yeah. You gonna build me some metal targets too? Yeah, yeah. But, yeah, the only reason we have to go to Rollins County is long-range shooting, which we only do once a year. So we're paying $200 to shoot once a year.
300-meter course or range down there.
Yeah, that's the only reason we go to Rollins County. And like I said, we do that only once a year. So, so I just kind of wanted to let you guys know because talking to the Wildlife Association and stuff,
So do you have to get that approved through the state or something?
the feds,
Feds?
I have to send in a thing that's what I spend my money on. And then they tell me if it's right or wrong. What I'm going through is I'm making some phone calls before we get to that point and saying, is this going to be okay? I've made some initial phone calls. Right now, what they're pushing for is brick and mortar projects. The feds are pushing for range stuff. In fact, there's even projects out there, like how we got the Humvee, where they gave it to us for free, and then after so many years, it became ours. They have projects for dirt moving equipment for law enforcement officers to get bulldozers, excavators, skid steer loaders and stuff that are federal equipment. You pay, a penny for every dollar that they say it's worth so that you can build your own range. So they're really pushing range projects right now. That's why I think this project will be an easy go, because that's what they're pushing, because they're finding out a lot of law enforcement agencies do not have a safe, appropriate range to be shooting on. Sherman County doesn't. We're lucky in the fact that we have a place to go, that the Wildlife Association. Rollins County doesn't. They have to pay the $200 just like we do to go shoot at that range. So we're kind of lucky, and we just want to improve it a little bit and kind of make it a little bit safer and a little bit more specific to what we need.
Yeah.
And I think it sure beats. We've had an offer to build our own range someplace else on some different land, and I think this is the cheaper route to go. Just take what we've already been using, get it specified a little bit to us, instead of going out and starting new and having
You'll find less resistance this route.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, and I think this is the best way to do it. Obviously, when I'm done with my conversations with the Equitable Sharing Partners, the federal people, and it's turned down, obviously we're not going to do it. But for right now, talking to them, this seems to be right up the alley of what they're looking for. Brick and mortar type projects, range projects, things like that. So I don't see, the only catch may be that whole, this isn't ours, it's somebody else's range. But I'm going to mail them a copy, the same thing you guys have, that proposal explaining how this works, that we don't have a range, we use this range, and we've historically always used this range. I think we'll be good, especially with paying the fee, making us kind of, we can't be members, but if we pay the fee, we kind of get to be, I don't know what the word, invested in it.
Why can't you become members?
I guess I can't say we can't become members, but it's just kind of, the organization becoming a membership. I don't know how that works, like a business or a person. I don't know if it's just individuals can be
Individuals
members.
is all we have.
Yeah, that's the way I understood it. The individuals is all they have for members. So instead of, the reason I came up with that dollar amount, I kind of came up in my mind of, okay, the life of this project would be this, and if we have so many deputies and they each paid a membership, this is what it would be. So that's how I came up with the number, is if I paid a membership for each one of the deputies, individually, that's the dollar amount that I'd come up with. So it's just not a number I pulled out of my hair. I did round it up, but it's not a number I just pulled out. It was the cost of membership for the guys for several years. So
Yeah, it's something that's been needed, and it's a definite improvement, so I have no qualms about it.
okay. Like I said, I just kind of wanted you guys' support, and the fact that I'm sure once we go into talking to the Wildlife Association, people are gonna know, and people are gonna talk about it and ask you guys, and I wanted you guys to know about it before people came up to you and said, hey, what's the deal with the sheriff's office doing things? I have talked to Dave, and I told Dave we're not in a hurry on this project. He said this winter he could probably help with the dirt burn part of the project. He didn't give me a solid yes, but he said he probably
Can they do
could.
that? You can't help with the threshing grounds, can you help with that?
But he's helping the sheriff's office, not, another county entity.
County
But
entity.
Or private organizations gain. To an extent.
Well, let me know. I mean, we could hire somebody to haul the dirt.
We'll look into, let's get through the grant process
Okay.
and, or, getting, I shouldn't say grant process, but getting through with the feds for approval for the project. And then we can look into if that has to be contracted out or not.
Yeah.
Because it is, these are federal forfeiture monies
Mm-hmm.
that are being used, and they have a lot of rules and restrictions on that, and that might be something that you could ask them
Okay.
when you're visiting with them about, okay, when it comes to the actual work on these projects, what is the norm? What is what is expected?
Then, if you guys don't want to, that's fine. There's some things that came up since I filled out the thing on the agenda. I was wondering if I could go into executive session with you guys to talk about contractual contract. Is that the right way to put it?
Is this employees?
No, it's contractual.
Got your list?
Right there, it's right here in the list.
Good.